Hey, what's up, folks? How's it going? How's it going? Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Hey, Rumpelstiltskin. Guys, let me know if the sound is okay or if you think it could be improved. I'm streaming from Los Angeles here, and yeah, it's kind of it's a temp setup. Temp setup. Hey, PJ, how's it going? Good to see you back. Sounds good. So you guys don't hear like a super loud AC in the background? Or like my super loud computer fan? You guys aren't hearing any of that? I can hear it. Yeah, it's very. I mean, it's a warm room. AC has to be on. Maybe not forever, but as long as it's yeah, I've got some kind of like noise filter on the mic, so hopefully it's better. Amazing, amazing technology, huh? I believe you guys. I believe you. But yeah, it's wild. It's all I can hear. It's all I can hear. But that's cool. Well, I hope y'all are doing well. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start going through some of my games from Vegas today and start annotating them as part of the Dojo training program. But also just that's what I would normally do anyway. Even without the training program, I'd be going over and probably annotating my games. Um, so yeah, we have a lot of games to get through. I play 14 games in Vegas, so we're just gonna start with the first one from the first tournament and kind of slowly work through it. Dream 2006. Hello, hello. Lots of stuff happening. We got lots of videos coming out. We're working on the openings. Jesse's videos on the Caro and French are now out on the YouTube channel, which is super cool. And we're working on putting up all of our opening courses on our site as well. We're gonna take over the openings. That's our new mission, because we've decided that people, they spend too much time trying to remember moves and memorize opening theory. They're spending all this time going about openings the wrong way. Whereas what people should be doing is studying games and playing games, playing practice games and training games and sparring games from their openings, from key positions that they're going to be getting over and over again. Just picking up that practice, analyzing those games, and then learning from those games. So what we're working on is a bunch of like very simple repertoires that are basically like one or two files. Like you can go through them in 10-15 minutes, and then you're just ready to play the opening. And it's all about learning the ideas of the opening rather than, again, memorizing a bunch of different lines and moves. So I'm working on a King's Indian course for the 12 to 1800 range. I'm very close to being done with it. And included in the course is going to be some opening lines, but also some model games, and then a bunch of exercises that I think are going to be very useful. Like if you're a King's Indian player, you should absolutely know like these tactics, and there's some strategic ideas in there as well. So yeah, and then after I do the King's Indian, I think next I'll do like, I want to do Sicilian repertoire, e4, e5 for black. I'll do d4 repertoire for white, e4 repertoire. We're just gonna crush everything. we're just gonna crush everything. So that's very exciting. Move over Chessable. Exactly. I mean, Chessable is our friend, but of course, they're gonna have to move over. Yeah, Zandibak. I think people will really enjoy the new content. Someone, you saw my game against Grandmaster Durabaili. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry you had to see that. It was a tough game. No, actually, it was, of course, a very difficult game for me, but I actually enjoyed it quite a bit, mainly because of how well I thought he was playing, and I felt like I could learn a lot from how he won the game. Although my play was, of course, subpar, but his play I thought was quite decent. That's definitely a crucial game for me too. That's actually the only game I play the whole trip against high rated player, which is kind of amazing. Out of 14 games, I played one game against Grandmaster, and everyone else was like either a kid or a low rated player. But still, some very very tough battles. Xerxes 11, thanks for following. Yeah, we got a new layout, by the way, guys. Hope you are enjoying the new layouts, the new logo. Got a sub goal up. Big changes here at Dojo. Okay, shall we start going through these games? This is game one. Actually, maybe I should add a little note that shows the info about this game. Let me, just give me 2 seconds, guys, and I'll add some info about this game. The time control is 90 plus 30. Actually, that was the time control throughout my trip, both events. I really like this new 90 plus 30 standard. At least I like that most tournaments are just sticking to the 90 plus 30, you know? What I don't like is when it's like a different time control every event, and then you have to like check a million times because you don't remember, and then it's like you don't get used to like first time control, second time control, 2 hours for 40 moves, 90 minutes for 40 moves, 30 minutes. It's like just, and it's 2 rounds a day as well. It just make it one time control. Okay, what is everyone's problem right now? Just one time control, 90 plus 30. I think that's the way to go. I think that's solid. Okay, 1 sec here. Let's add the game info. How's that? Silver Tool, thank you for subscribing. 3 months. Got the sub alerts up. That was working. Very cool. Okay, so you guys can see the game title now. Cool. So I'm not gonna do like a recap kind of thing. I'm more just gonna go through the game and actually start annotating it. But I'll share some thoughts, and if you guys have questions, of course, you're welcome to ask. But yeah, so this was my round 1 game. This is from the 1000 GM Las Vegas Summer Super Swiss, which is a pretty strong open tournament. There was a good number of players in the field, something like I think around 60 or 70, if I remember correctly. And most everyone was very strong, like above 2,000, 2,100 FIDE or so. So first round, I'm playing a player named CS Rahesh, who was around 2165 FIDE. But these days, you don't really know with anyone. Like 2150 FIDE, they could be 2300 strength, 2350. Like you just have no idea. So everyone is, very very good until proven otherwise. And yeah, so this game started off. He went for the English. And I'll tell you guys actually a funny story about this game. So both my opponent and I made, I think, some very serious mistakes in our preparation. In fact, I believe we made 2 of the most common mistakes that you can make when you're kind of managing your openings and preparing. So I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this game. I think I only had like, actually that's not true. We had a couple hours to prep for the game because the first round pairings were released early. So we had a few hours, and I remember I was able to find my opponent's online account on chess.com. That's usually my process. At some point, I'll just make a video about this because I imagine it will be useful for people. But usually I try to find someone's online account, then you go to openingtree.com, you put it in, you look at their repertoire. Because a lot of people, they will just play their tournament repertoire online, right? And you just kind of want to see like what they're usually doing. So I found his account. I saw, he played like, thousands and thousands of games. And I saw he played a bunch of blitz games, many, many games with this exact setup, this English approach, c4, g3, bishop, g2. And then to my surprise, he kind of just like repeated pretty much what he always does online, like in our classical game. I couldn't find a lot of tournament games where he had played this way. He did a few, but it was odd because he essentially just like repeated the stuff he always kind of plays online, and it didn't seem like he was totally like prepared to actually play it. So I go with like my usual kind of King's Indian setup here. I like keeping it flexible because if you commit the knight to f6 too early, it lets white play d4. And if white were to go for like the Botvinnik system or something with e4, then I definitely want to be able to play e6 and knight g7 in this kind of position. So I like this setup. White plays a3. I went e6. This is all pretty normal. Castles, knight g7, rook b1, castles, b4, b6. And this is a very normal way for white to play. But then he goes b takes c5, which is definitely not a great decision. Because after black goes dc, black just gets really nice control over the d4 square. And I think black's position is already possibly even slightly better. Bishop is coming to b7. We get knight f5. And white has very little on the b file. I think black is just doing really well. But this move, this b takes c5, was actually not a surprise for me because like I saw that my opponent had already, like every time he reached this kind of position where he goes like rook b1, b4, and black plays b6, almost every game I saw he was playing b takes c5. And in almost every game that I analyzed, like I checked the games with the engine, it was like not the best move. It was like a mistake or dubious. And I realized that this guy just like, he just does this every time like in this position. And I think this is a pretty common thing where people, you play a lot of blitz games online and then you don't check them. And then because you've just played the same stuff over and over again, you just assume it's fine. And then you just do it, in like an actual tournament game, even though it's like not a great decision. Like I think b5 might be a little bit better here, or, bishop b2 also playable, but so he kind of committed, I don't know, I think a pretty big sin. And I've done this too, where it's like you just play some opening online, and then in blitz it's like sometimes you get punished, sometimes you don't really remember, and then you don't bother to check it, and then it turns out you're just playing something dubious like the whole time. So I was of course very, very happy to get this position, and I was still in book actually for a couple moves here because he basically kind of followed like what he usually does. Bishop b2, d3, queen d7, queen c2. Like he had went for this setup in a bunch of games that I found, maybe in different move orders. Rook a d8. And I saw in a lot of games he went for this kind of move, knight e4, trying to trade off the bishops. And I had planned to go e5 here, which the engine shows as like being a good move in a bunch of positions. And the point is just to take space. Now the bishop on b2 feels restricted, and black is going to play f5 to kick the knight, and I get this nice d4 square. Knight comes to d4, and black just starts taking tons and tons of space and already is standing quite a bit better. So that was kind of my prep, but he went rook b d1, and this is where like my mistake in preparation came up, because at this point, okay, I'm doing great. Like I prepared the line. It's move 14. Black is slightly better. What more could I ask for, right? But what I failed to do was like I didn't really analyze the position from like a human point of view, which means like I didn't understand like what I'm playing for and what the plan is and what I should be trying to do. Because I was just kind of looking at it, quickly, because course, maybe he could play something else. I want to look at other stuff. You can't analyze things forever, but yeah, I was mainly just trying to look for concrete ideas, like what if white plays this move? What if white plays this move? How should I react to this? But I really wasn't thinking about like what black is actually trying to achieve in the position. And already here, this is officially like my first move out of book. Like I know I have a decent position. I know the engine says black is slightly better, maybe even clearly better, but I actually still wasn't sure what to do. And I considered basically two moves here. The first one was e5, and the second one was knight d4. And I rejected knight d4. I think I'd probably consider other moves, like maybe knight f5 as well, but I didn't like knight d4 here because I thought white takes, I take, and yeah, I wasn't sure how to evaluate this position. We actually get some kind of reverse Benoni structure, where white's now the one that's like playing the Benoni. Bishop takes b7 I don't think is possible because of d takes c3 here, where white has too many pieces hanging. So white would have to play like knight e4. And yeah, I wasn't sure how to evaluate this position. I wasn't even sure if black is better. I played a lot of Benoni positions, you know, with reverse colors, and yeah, it's tricky. You know, I honestly just didn't know. So I ended up rejecting this one and playing e5 instead. And e5 to me felt thematic, and also was the move that the engine would always suggest in all these lines, like, oh, e5, 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 trying to take space. But here e5 is actually kind of a mistake, or at least it gives up black's advantage. Because now my opponent found very nice move e4, and all of a sudden black is basically losing the space advantage, because now white is just getting this huge knight d5 move, and just like that, actually black doesn't really have much. So I can go knight d4 now. This is what happened in the game, but after takes knight d5, I think white is basically doing fine. I'll show you guys the game. I mean, white was from here totally okay, and then started to even be better at some point. So what I should have done was play this move knight d4. And yeah, the mistake I made in the preparation was that I just didn't really analyze the position enough to understand, like, this knight d4, this is something that black wants to achieve in a lot of these positions. And this e5 move, it's actually kind of a specific idea that's really in response to white's knight e4 jump. Where if you notice, when white goes knight e4, black plays e5, of course white can't then play e4, right, and deal with this. So this is why this e5 move is kind of working in this position, but not just on its own. So that was kind of my fail. You know, sometimes you prep the position, but then you don't quite understand what exactly you're playing for in the structure. And usually that's more important than actually knowing like a specific detail about a position. Oh, if white tries this move, then this is like a cool trick in response, or something like that. I think it's much more useful to understand where you want to put your pieces, what kind of structures you're aiming for, what kind of exchanges you're trying to achieve, and just what your overall strategic goal is in the position. So yeah, so those were our kind of two mistakes in this game in terms of the preparation. My opponent just kind of repeating the same old like online blitz play that he's always used to, and then me just kind of superficially checking it and not really analyzing it too deeply. Okay. So I'll show you guys kind of what happened in the game after e4, knight d4. I think I still could have fought for a bit of an advantage here. If I did not take the knight on d5, but I didn't really feel like I could tolerate this knight for very long. You know, but maybe black shouldn't take on d5. So for example, I could start with rook to c8. And now, okay, there's some threats because of the pin on the c file. We're threatening to just take here 3 times. So let's say white goes, I was thinking queen to b3. apparently there's also maybe this move is possible. Or if I take, we lose the exchange. Knight e7, knight takes c8, right? So gotta go f5. Queen's gonna have to get off of the c file at some point, and let's say bishop c6, threatening the skewer. Rook c1. Apparently it's close to equal here, but it's hard to say who's more equal. Like, just because the eval is equal doesn't mean that in practice it's going to be equal. We actually got a similar structure in the game. But in the game, I remember definitely at some point I started feeling worse. So this one seems a bit unclear. If rook c8, queen b3, bishop c6, rook c1, I was thinking takes here. So this is basically the same line, but without bishop h3. b4. So here black would actually be better because of this bishop c2 move. This is very much Karpov Unziker, yeah? Queen b4, queen a4. And then queen comes into b3, and white has issues with the d pawn. Wonder if an engine can be made to evaluate playability. Yeah, I feel like they're so close because, like, it seems as though it should be possible, right? A human can see if you only have moves in a position and your opponent has multiple moves they can choose from, whereas you have to find only moves to keep the balance. Clearly one side is easier to play because moves are easier to find. But I think it's really hard to get it right. I haven't quite seen an engine that can do it. Oh, thanks for subscribing, folks. By the way, sorry, I was in the middle of my little prep story, which maybe will go on YouTube. But thanks, Sam Baltz, Jim ZW. Thanks for subscribing, much appreciated. Got this new sub goal up. And, oh, if we get to 20, here's the promise: we can play some blitz. I'll play some blitz against the subs. So that's the sub goal. Hey, Ice Hawks. Hello, viewer. Thanks for watching. Junior was an early attempt at positional base play. I remember Junior, and there was Deep Junior, right? Or was it just Junior? I remember the old engines, you know? You got Ripka, you had Hierarchs, Junior. What was the other one? Shredder. Shredder was very big. And then, of course, Houdini. I remember when Houdini came out. It was like, it was like, whoa, it just like blew the other engines out of the water. Houdini was a beast. Houdini 1.5? Oof. What a beast. What a beast. And then there was like there's Houdini 3, Houdini 4. Okay, Houdini started having like, I don't know, some copyright issues. I don't know exactly what happened there, but there were some technical questions. And then when Stockfish came out, Stockfish came out, it was over. It was over. Stockfish was like the prodigy. Stockfish was just like, it was only out for a little bit, and everyone just understood immediately, like just how promising it was. I don't know what it was about it, but it just immediately took over. And then there was like Komodo too, and people were really excited about Komodo, but I don't know. They're like, oh, Komodo's the positional engine; it can find positional moves. Blah 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 blah. But Stockfish was free, and then Stockfish would like outcalculate it. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, Komodo was cool too. I don't mean to hate on Komodo, but Stockfish was king. Stockfish was king. Yeah, a lot of the stronger PCs are, I would say, 12 to 16 cores. Like I have a desktop at home that's 12, 16. My laptop is 8, but I feel like 8 is pretty good for a laptop. Um, yeah. Anyway, another move I could have considered was b5. I think I did think about this one. Then of course I'd have to be willing to play something like this, which, yeah, this was not clear to me. In fact, I don't feel like black would have any kind of serious winning chances here. Even if we win back the pawn, it's like, yeah, hard to imagine we win that. So I don't know if b5 is a real serious winning attempt here. f5 is also playable. But then maybe bishop h3. Okay, rook c8, so we would get the same line. So rook c8, I think, was the move to maybe pose the most problems. If bishop h2, we have f5. Here, rook c1. Take something like this. And some move here for black. Maybe queen b5, actually. Maybe offering this endgame. Hey, Bed Colin. It's good to meet you as well. How'd you end up finishing the tournament? Yeah, I got to meet a lot of dojoers, a lot of new peeps. National Open was super fun. I definitely enjoyed the social aspects very much. 50%. Nice. That's how I did in my first tournament. But hopefully you played up more than you played down. But the biggest thing is that you just got some interesting games to analyze. As long as you learn from the games, I think that's what matters. Yeah, every time. That's right. That's right. It happens. That was, yeah, same for me. Same for me. So, what are you gonna do? Yeah, Zondibok. I mean the big events are fun because there's a ton of people. Always a lot of chess. Here, Engine really loves this move. And then here, transposing to the other line. Yeah, chess tournaments are always on the holiday, which is funny. They always use the holidays to do the tournaments. So yeah, first moments. Where it could have improved was here, 94. So this position was, in fact, nice for black. It's okay, just loses. 94. And this move looks very nice. Bishop c6. Little tempo. So rook b1. And then f5 or e5. Seems like either move actually is either e5 first and then f5 or f5 and then e5. Let's say e5. This one coming next. Hey, goats. Good, good. I finished my trip. 14 games, 8.5 out of 14. Now just reviewing them. Yeah, I didn't realize this position would be nice for black, but it is. Black has a lot of space. Bishop on b2 isn't good. We're going to go f5 and trade off white's strong bishop. No, unfortunately, we didn't gain rating. Just played down too much. Is it harder to beat a player who's playing for a draw? I don't think that was the experience I had. Um, that really depends on the strength of the player. Like, it's definitely hard to beat a grandmaster who's playing for a draw, especially with white. Like almost impossible. Um, Lower rated players, I think it doesn't matter too much actually because some players they start playing badly if they're actively like playing for a draw they just play bad and so then it's very easy to beat them. Um, Other players if they play more aggressively it's harder to beat them. You know, uh, yeah, it's also hard to beat a grandmaster and it's also hard just to draw them if they're not if they're trying to win. Yeah, of course. Went without saying. Went without saying. Um, but yeah, I think for me it only really became a problem. Um, Honestly, like maybe around 2200 is the level where if a player starts, if a player just wants to draw from the opening, then that can be a little bit annoying, like 2200 and up. But it really doesn't happen that often, right? And it's only when they're playing with white. Of course, if someone is playing with black, like, yeah, they're gonna be trying to equalize. So that makes no difference whether they're actively trying to make a draw or what, right? Like, it doesn't matter. If you're playing white, it's up to you to play for the win. So it's really only when someone's playing white that it's kind of possibly an issue. So honestly, it doesn't come up that often. Uh, I can assure you, I have many chances with black and white in order to create winning chances. For instance, here, like black would already be much better in this game, and it would be as if I'm playing white. And from here, if I don't convert, it's on me. It's not because my opponent, playing for a draw or whatever, right? It's because my technique is or isn't good enough. Hey, Mr. Hockey Chess Dude, what's up? Am I still allowed to call you Charlie, or what's the deal on that? Because if I feel like if I stop calling you Charlie, I'm gonna forget. Okay, good. Just checking. Nice. Okay, well, yeah, we're just about to maybe annotate this game a little bit. In fact, maybe I'll stop talking as much and turn on some music while we annotate a bit. Whoa. Skip to the end of the game for some reason. Oh, I must have clicked something. Oh. Okay, ChessBase gave me some weird stuff. I'll show you guys till the end of the game. So I went here. I played bishop h6. I did consider bishop h6. I played it at this moment just to cover the c1 square. But then white played f4, so it actually wasn't really anything special. No, you're fine. You're fine. I went here. G7. And yeah, then we got this. White takes. I gave this check. Take back. Bishop a3. And yeah, now it's like very tricky situation because I have to be super careful not to allow white to get in with like d6 and oops, queen d5. Thanks, Molokai. Thanks. Yeah, a lot of the games weren't great actually, given the aforementioned mistakes. But I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, lots of mistakes. Well, what are you gonna do? I mean, chess is hard, right? Chess is hard, and it's hard to calculate. FB, thanks for subscribing. Yeah, Malika, I know. I have the engine too. You know, I can I can check. I know. I'm aware. I'm aware of the engine evals. I'm also checking the games. Yeah. But thanks for letting me know. Oh, that's cool. Andres was watching a bit. That's nice. He's a friend. Big friend. H5, H4. Someone tweeted at me actually, like after one of the games. They were like, "Hey, you're doing really well, but then you made this move, which was a mistake." And then it was just like, "Okay, thank you." Like they were just watching the game with the engine, and then they saw like where the eval dropped, and then they just messaged, "Hey, you made a mistake at this move." I'm like, okay, thank you. I could also go and check the chess.com engine. like, thank you. Yeah. So this is what happened in the game. H5, H4. And now actually I couldn't find a move here. Because white wants to go like king H2, bishop H3. And my queen doesn't have a lot of squares. And yeah, I got to be very careful about allowing any kind of queen b4, queen e7, or queen b4, and then like rook f8 could be scary. So yeah, I did consider g5 here, which is actually playable, but it seemed risky. But maybe this could have been a try. I would have to find queen to d1, rook h8, g4 here. Okay, it's not the easiest position for white to play, so maybe this was possible. Queen c7. Maybe this is what I should have done actually. But g5, okay, white doesn't have to take. White can also just, I think I was afraid of this. Just immediate rook f5. Just plugging everything, and then probably got to go here and okay, engine says only move queen d8, which makes zero sense to me. I guess defending the pawn, but yeah, no way I would have found like queen d8 and thought I'm doing well here. So I think this is just kind of a crazy line. G5, rook f5, and yeah, it looks like black is just, I'm just in trouble because I'm too weak. What's wrong with rook c3? Nothing. That's what I played. In fact, this was the only move, I think, not to be worse. White went queen b4, threatening queen f8. I went rook c5, defending and also hitting this one. And then we repeated, queen b3, rook c3. So this was the end of the game. We agreed to a draw. But I was just wondering if I could have played on somehow. No, you're fine. No problem, guys. No problem. Everyone's allowed to ask questions. It's all good. But yeah, I was actually kind of happy with this moment because if I don't play rook c3 and make a draw, I'm much worse if not losing. And so a lot of times it's easy to just go crazy playing for the win and take a lot of insane risk, but I'm not sure if it would have been worth it at this point because, yeah, I'd probably mainly just be risking to lose. So I think this was a good moment to kind of bail out. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Mubot's killing me with these old links. This arena happened like 4 months ago. All right, hold on, folks. We have to chastise Mubot. Mubot, why don't you just intuitively understand that when the tournament is done, we don't need the command anymore? Doesn't seem like a very smart bot to me. It's just gonna keep playing the command. Mubot is a wanker. You're right. Mubot is a wanker, and I'm sorry if that's a slur. I'm not not up to date on my English slurs. All right, we turned off the command. Yeah, it's no stockfish. That's for sure. Oh, but we still have the chess.com link. Yeah, one day Mubot is gonna be sentient and come back, huh? It's like I heard that. Hmm. So what have you guys been working on in terms of your chess? Who's reading what? You guys reading books? Or are you guys rationalizing? Those are the only two options. Are you reading or are you rationalizing? Yeah, like you're either reading or you've got an excuse for why you're not reading. You're either working on a book every morning or you're not. For me, my rationalization is I need to like analyze my games first. It's very hard for me to like start working on my chess when like I just played a tournament. I need to like analyze my games and kind of come to grips with the fact that my calculation is terrible and I don't know any openings, and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm not judging you guys. I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys. Oh, 64 Squares app. I haven't seen that. Helps you monitor your study time. That's cool. That's cool. I guess that's what we're trying to do with the Dojo training program. Because now you can track your time and see what you're doing. Just came out yesterday. Nice, nice. I'll have to check that out. It sounds very cool. Sounds very cool. Thanks for following, folks. Thanks for following. Welcome to the dojo. Solving tactics every morning. That's good. That's good. Oh, Sicilian Attacks by Yuri Yakovich. That's the book. It's got like a pistol on the cover, right? I feel like that cover wouldn't fly today. Yeah. Be too risky. Oh, cool, cool, cool. I think it's fine to not be working on. I mean, analyzing your games is working on your chess. I mean, I think it's fine to not be like reading some specific book if you have some tournament games to analyze. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that about the Mora book. Evaluate like a GM. Nice, nice. Actually, when I was in Vegas, I picked up 2 books because I got a plus score. So they gave me a. The tournament does this thing where they give you a $50 gift certificate if you get a plus score, which is cool. And I bought a book of Geller's games, FM Geller, FM FIDE Master Geller, um, called. I think it's called Geller's Nemesis. It's like a remastered book, I think, by Quality Chess, but it's like Geller's greatest games, which is very exciting. Because I think Geller is one of the best players ever. Super, super instructive in terms of his games and annotations. And I also got this new book that we just added to the program. Think Like a Super Jam with Mickey Adams. So I'm excited to read that because Jesse was definitely very much into that book. And it seems like a very cool book. So I got a lot of books to read. Actually, I started reading quite a bit. Quite a bit lately. No, it was I was just joking. I was just joshing. It is FM as in EFIM, who is a very strong grandmaster. Very strong grandmaster. But it was an inside joke because I did a speed run where my username was FM. It's kind of funny. Do I give private lessons? Only on rare occasion, and when I do, it's actually to members of the Dojo training program, which I would encourage you guys to all check out, because I'm very busy and I don't have time to give regular private lessons generally. I'm traveling a lot, and I'm working on the training program and making that as good as I possibly can. But occasionally I do offer lessons to students in the program as a way of just kind of trying to support their progress. We have been thinking about offering some classes, either some group classes or some one-on-ones, but it's very tough, and you got to figure out like exactly how much time you have for it. But that is something we're thinking about, because that is something a lot of people ask about in terms of like classes and stuff. But yeah, right now nothing available. Oh yeah, our training program is great. Number one, it's very cheap. It's very cheap. If you sign up for the whole year, it comes out to like $850 a month, which is very cheap for a chess training program. It tells you like what to do, gives you a bunch of positions to work on, sparring positions, games to study. It doesn't come with the books. You got to buy the books as well. But all right, you were going to buy the books anyway. Who are we kidding? And then you also get the community with it. You get access to all the training partners, and now the site is very cool with the scoreboard and all the annotated games, and we're adding a lot of opening content as well. So definitely, it's a very good value. I mean, $850 a month is it's very cheap. What is that? It's like 30 cents a day. Jesse puts in a ton of work on the openings. He's been doing a lot of work on the Caracal French. He's been adding these repertoires. I'm doing King's Indian. David's doing Sicilian Najdorf. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no pressure. I mean, the program's not for everyone. I would encourage people to just check out the link, because we have all the info there on our site about what exactly it includes and doesn't include. Like, there's no like group classes, and it's not a ton of. There's some videos, but it's not like a ton of like video content, like video lessons, right? It's more like the training plan, the tracker, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, we really believe in it. We think it's a great program, and one thing we're always doing is we're always trying to improve it as much as we can. So that's kind of the cool thing. It's always kind of evolving, and we're always trying to add new stuff to it. Okay. So let me annotate this game a bit. Polgar Maiden 2 is really getting me down. I keep finding mates in 2 in my games when there's also a mate in 1. That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, no, don't worry about that. That's cool, dude. It's all good. No worries about that. Made in 2, made in 1. It's the real world. The real world is not chess.com Puzzle Rush where you get punished if you don't find the made in 1. I think they were joking. I think. You never know these days. Yeah, you only have to win each game once. So, right, missing a mate because you found a way to like go to an endgame up a rook and win smoothly. Definitely not a big deal. Yeah. All right, let's see if we can get some music going. Great. Hopefully that's not too loud. You guys let me know if it is. But I'm going to start talking less and maybe annotating more. But if you guys have other questions or topics of discussion, I'm all ears. But Jesse's been ragging on me, dude. He's been ragging. He's like, when are you going to annotate your games? He's like, the dojo is losing its faith. If the senseis don't follow the program, people are going to drop out. I'm like, all right. Relax. Jeez. Any thoughts of creating some type of study plan? There's so much to do and you randomly do things in the program. Yeah, actually, Go Irish, I did release a beta study plan. If you search in the Discord, there was a thread for it where I kind of released a sample training plan, and then people gave some good feedback on it. So the plan is to kind of revise that and then release those, kind of make them optional. But the truth is, in terms of the study plan, the way it's going to look, it's like, depending on your level, you really just have to choose kind of one focus. And I would say work on that for some time, like 6 weeks, for example. Now, what you want to work on for the next 6 weeks, it's kind of up to you. Like, you've played some games recently, you've reviewed those games, you've understood you have a problem with tactics, you have a problem with end games, you have a problem with positional play. Maybe that you can work on everything, right? But I would suggest choosing one thing. Like, you want to improve your calculation. So you work on tactics and calculation for the next 6 weeks. You choose one of the books in your training program, right? You probably have several books to choose from. Choose one of the books, start going through it, 10 pages a day, more if you have time, but 10 pages a day, just start going through it. And then after 6 weeks, you're going to get through a lot of it. Maybe keep going until you finish it. Maybe you feel like you want to switch to something else. But my suggestion would be like, choose one main thing, work on it for 6 weeks, then either switch it up or keep working on it. During those 6 weeks, continue playing games, like classical games, one a week, or maybe you have a tournament every once in a while. Analyze those games. So keep playing, keep doing tactics, but mainly choose like one thing to work on. Maybe it's endgames. Maybe you just want to read Silman 30 minutes a day. Silman's endgame book, until you finish the appropriate section. But yeah, I would say choose one thing and then do it consistently. Cool. But yeah, also yeah, I will be revising the study plan, so they'll come out at some point. But they're basically just going to say the same thing. Focus on one thing, analyze your games, play, some classical games, but do one thing for 45 minutes a day, every day, until you finish, basically. Any tips for training your 6-year-old? Trying to speed her up. I'm not a huge expert on training kids. I know David did a lesson on our YouTube channel about how to train your toddlers and your infants. I would definitely suggest getting her on chesskid.com. I think ChessKid is the best site for kids. Having her do the lessons, playing lots of games, tactics. In general, I think as long as the kid enjoys the game, that would be kind of the biggest thing I would imagine. If they don't enjoy chess, they're just not going to be into it, right? So you really just have to pay attention, make sure that they are having fun with it and they actually like it, and not to like push them on it too hard. But I don't know. I'm not a parent. Like, I'm not an expert. So yeah, it's hard to say. But there's lots of cool apps out there. ChessKid is definitely not the only one. I would definitely maybe do some research in terms of other chess apps for kids, because there's like Magnus has an app for kids, and I'm sure there's others as well that are super fun. Have I looked at the problems in the back of Chess Tactics from Scratch? I actually haven't. I haven't. But it's not surprising that they're harder. Isn't the story that Jakob Agard added those puzzles to the back of? Aren't they his puzzles? Or I don't know if that's accurate, but I feel like I heard that. Can adults have a ChessKid account? Yeah. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any verification process. Hey, Oski boy, how's it going? Yeah, it's Jakob. Oh God. But it's very hard, so I say Agard. I like saying Jakob though. Jakob is fun, but yeah, the last name is tough. Finally finished middle school. Congratulations. Oh, you graduated today. That makes sense, huh? It's June. June 21st. This would be a graduation day, wouldn't it? 8th grade, right? Nice. Get ready for the worst 4 years of your life. No, I'm just kidding. High school's great. Um, Congrats. Enjoy enjoy the summer. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. I couldn't wait to get out of school, honestly. Oh, Charlie got school in Dubai until July 3rd. Then back to cold Boston in July. Nice. Will I stream Woodpecker again? Well, I don't know if I would stream the original Woodpecker because I already did it. But when the new one comes out, I might do that one. But I think not actually. I think they're not cool with the streaming of the Woodpecker. So I actually don't know if I'll, because there's a new one coming out on positional puzzles, which is going to be amazing. But I don't think they're going to want, certain publishers don't want streamers to stream the books, which I understand. And I want to respect their wishes because chess books are a dying art and they need to be supported. Yeah, not going to stream my Woodpecker. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. How many hours a day do I think you should spend prepping, studying for classical tournaments? You're playing your first one in 10 years. Well, I think you should spend all your time. So 10 hours a day. I would also suggest playing tournaments. If you really want to be ready for a tournament, the best thing you can do is to play a lot of tournaments beforehand. Because like you need to practice the thing that you're practicing. You can't just not do something and then do it for the first time and then expect to do well. So chess studying and chess tournaments are very different. They feel similar, but it's very different. It's like reading about food and then actually cooking, It's very, very different. Hey, Thinker Teacher, thanks for the raid. Oh, you're playing the World Open in a week. Oh, that's great. Wait, you said you're playing your first tournament in 10 years. Was that you said 10 years? Was that 10 days? I think they meant 10 days. 10 days, not 10 years. Oh, the last tournament you played was 10 years. Oh, did I misread? I'm playing my first one in 10 years. I understand. I thought in 10 years, but you meant you're playing your first one in 10 years. Okay, now I understand. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Well, you don't have a lot of time. Yeah, you don't have a lot of time. Um, you're not gonna become a Nishigiri overnight, right? Before this tournament. So, what I would suggest is doing some tactics to warm up, trying to do a lot of tactical puzzles, getting ready. Maybe play some games, especially if you haven't played in a while. Playing some practice games. No one does this. Play some games over the board, right? Like you're gonna go to a tournament and play over the board. Play over the board before that. Okay? You have to practice the thing that you're gonna do. There's just that's the best thing. It's the best thing. Because when you get to the tournament, if you don't play OTB before then, you're gonna feel super rusty, and you're gonna blunder stuff, and you're gonna be like, why didn't I practice the thing that I'm gonna do? And like the 2D board is just not the same. It's just not the same. Like it's the same game, it's the same rules and stuff, but it's just like very, very different. So definitely try to practice with the OTB. With the you got to get a physical board and the pieces, and you got to move the pieces like with your own hands. And if you could practice, like if you can do like a full practice game, um, that would be best. Like where you're doing notation, you're using the clock, right? Because that's what's going to feel very rusty. And then you just want to be able, you want it to feel natural, right? So that when you're at the board, you can just calculate. It's just like a normal chess game. And it's not like, oh, I'm so unused to this, the whole game. Oh, I can't, I'm not used to this. If the more you play, the more you get used to it. Yeah, the vision is so much better on the computer. Yeah, it's of course. It's because we're used to the computer, right? So as much as you can, I would say try to do more and more OTB. Actually, that's true. It's a good analogy. It's a little bit like talking to people in person versus chatting online. Like it feels like okay, it's kind of the same thing, whatever. But no, actually, if you're just like chatting online all day and you're just chatting for years and years, then you have to go and like talk to people and you have to like use your voice. Like, it's actually very different, right? You're like not used to it. Your voice starts cracking. It's just like it's not. Yeah, post pandemic, I think a lot of people, myself included, had to like remember how to socialize once again. I was very not used to it. I was like, whoa, there's other people around? Humans. Yeah, OTB is a lot of fun. But yeah, good luck, good luck. Enjoy. Enjoy the games. Oh, thanks again, Thinker Teacher, for the raid. I don't think we gave you a shout out. Let me do that now. Nice. All right. Thank you, Lout Zeus. Great username. Did I say that right? Lout Zeus. Like Lao Tzu, but Zeus. Hmm. Should try to push to make dojo hubs and clubs and chapters. Yeah, I mean that would be fun. We definitely have a lot of dojoers all over. That would be awesome if you guys arranged like little meetups, like in different cities. Chicago, Denver, San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles, London, Berlin. I don't know. Toronto. That'd be super cool. Here in Kentucky, no one plays chess. They all plant stuff. That's funny. What do they plant? What are they planting in Kentucky? That's really funny. Thanks for following Dr. Nightmare. Fried chicken. Don't be, Don't be stereotypical. Come on. Don't be. Corn and innuendos. Great, great. Let's be nice to our one of 3 Kentucky fans. Oh, the KFCs there are horrible, huh? Like particularly bad, huh? Because they're not. I can't say a lot of people are fans out here either. But one thing I've recently heard is that when a place is like famous for a certain cuisine, then the average level of that goes down. It's like that location is like resting kind of on its reputation. Like we were in New England last year, and like apparently like the lobster rolls like are not that great. Like they're only great in certain places. Yeah, clam chowder, another one. Right, right. I feel like it's only specific places that have a good one. There's a good Chick-fil-A there. What do you mean by like a good Chick-fil-A? I mean, these franchises, I just assume they all do the same. Like it's not going to be that different from I mean, within the U.S. I understand the McDonald's in other countries actually are sometimes quite nice, but within the U.S. I feel like it's generally. Oh, it depends on cleanliness. Okay, okay, I see. Yeah, I got hungry too, folks. This was a mistake. This conversation. This was a mistake. I understand now. When I review this stream later, I'm gonna be like, we should have not talked about the food because I just got hungry. Yeah, it's 9 p.m. Yeah, I gotta eat dinner at some. But I wanted to annotate. We'll annotate the game more, and then we'll get dinner at some point. Is Dojo on Twitch forever considering Kick? I wouldn't say we're considering Kick. I'm not sure David or Jesse are aware of Kick at the moment. You know, we're pretty behind on stuff. Like maybe this time next year, Jesse will be like, guys, we got to get on Kick. They got the 95%. We got to get on Kick. So yeah, maybe in a year. But no, for now I think we're staying. We haven't even like figured out Twitch. You know, we're barely scratching the surface with Twitch. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna switch over anytime. And there's moral problems and moral issues, whatever. Um, Probably best not to get into it. Theo Smith, thanks for rating. I met CL Smith in Las Vegas actually. Met a bunch of streamers there. It was super fun. Hope you had a good stream. Welcome everyone. I'm actually in the middle of just like annotating the first game that I played. I played 2 events in Vegas. This is the first game of the first event. No GM norms. No GM norms. Is this chess? No, this is Twitch. This is twitch.tv. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you were asking. This is life. Welcome to real life. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I've been on a steady diet of tournaments and traveling. Okay. Thanks, thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. That's nice. That's nice of you to say. I have been eating at home now for the last 2 days. So I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas for too long, guys. I mean, it was like 12 days I was in Las Vegas. 12 days. One night is already a lot. One night in Vegas is already a lot on the body. I was there for 12 days. Yeah. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah. No, life is good. I'm not complaining. Life is definitely good right now. It was a good time. It was a good time. Was I at the Thai restaurant with Eric and others too? I'm not sure. I hung out with Eric a lot while I was there. But I don't remember. I don't know if I was there for that one. No, no money won. No money won. I did get a small prize for getting a plus score in the National Open, but no, no money won. Okay, so what are we doing? We're annotating this game. First moment was here. E5. This move was this move was a mistake. It allowed E4 and white was basically fine. So knight D4 was right. Let's type this in. I would not say it was a financially successful trip. No, I definitely paid for it out of my own pocket. But what are you gonna do? Chess is expensive. You gotta play chess. You gotta sign up for these tournaments. You gotta book the. I mean, I'm just an IM, right? I'm not getting huge conditions. That's why I gotta get GM, so I can play these tournaments for free. Yeah, no, chess is not cheap when you're playing events. That's for sure. That's for sure. So thank you. Don't move until you see it for subscribing. Thank you very much. Dojo needs your subs, folks. Dojo needs you guys to venture in more profitable areas than chess and then support the channel so that we can keep teaching you guys chess. All right, that's the deal. We work on the chess, you guys work on the finance and other stuff, and then we teach you the chess. As otherwise, there's no chess dojo, and then no one gets taught chess, right? So that's the deal. I didn't invent the rules. That's just how it goes. Yeah, generally grandmasters don't get uh, aren't asked for entry fees. Sometimes IMs aren't either. Depends on the tournament. Um, but yeah, grandmasters generally pay for free, and occasionally they get conditions. So they'll get free hotel, free flight, maybe even an appearance fee or like a minimum prize kind of situation, where it's like they get a minimum of something like $600, and then if they win more with the prize, then they win more. But if they don't, then they get that minimum. So they at least got something for, which I think is very fair. Because I mean, if you're a grandmaster, that means you've invested years and years of your life into this game. You know, I mean, we're talking about money, but what are someone's years worth? You know, 20 years dedicated to you know, studying this board game. What's that worth? There's gonna be some perk beyond the title for being grandmaster. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think I can't speak for everyone. Okay, I'm pursuing the title because it's like the highest title you can achieve. You know, it's like the pinnacle of chess. I feel like it's a very worthy pursuit. It's very difficult, but it's very worthy. Um, and in terms of like financial benefits, yeah, it's more than just like free entries and conditions. Of course, if you're a grandmaster, you can charge a lot more for your lessons, simuls. You can do a lot more events. You can charge more when you're doing commentary. So yeah, it's definitely more than just the conditions thing. Yeah, I mean, and my ultimate goal is not even to become a GM necessarily. Really, my goal is to just become the best player I can be. Right? Like that could be 2440 FIDE, right? That could be 2540, right? It's like it's not really clear. Maybe my peak rating is already in the books. I don't know what it is, 2424 or something, right? Maybe that's, but my goal is to just get as good as I possibly can. You know, I enjoy chess. I enjoy improving at chess. I enjoy feeling like you're getting better. I enjoy playing the game. I like analyzing the game. You know, I very much enjoy the life. Did the GMs get to play Kiss mini golf for free? No, unfortunately, Kiss mini golf they don't respect FIDE titles. You know, believe me, we tried. We tried. I went with Eric. He was like, "Do you know who I am?" And they wouldn't let him in. They wouldn't let him in. And you guys know Eric. You know he's very, you know, doesn't take no for an answer. He's like unbelievable. Thanks for following, Utility Duck. Do I play Title Tuesdays? I do. I do actually. A few of them are on our secondary YouTube channel, ChessDojoLive on YouTube. I was talking about Rosen, and I was completely kidding actually because he's like the last person who would say, do you know who I am? Literally the last person on this planet. to ever give him crap for promoting the staffer. No, no. Why would I? Is Eric more of a YouTuber than a serious chess player? I don't know. I mean, he's an IM. Like that's pretty serious. Like like even if he never plays another chess game in his life, like that's pretty serious, I would say. Yeah. Yeah. Of course he has other passions. I mean, he's huge YouTuber, but yeah. No, no. You don't get to you don't get to 2200 without being a very serious chess player. You know, forget I am. Like you don't get to much lower level without being extremely serious, you know. So this was the right. This was what I. I'm okay. We got a little. We got a little sidetracked. This is what I should have done. Knight d4. White has to take. Otherwise, we're taking on f3. Pawn takes to take the space. Knight e4. Very strong move. Bishop c6. Running this one, and then also I feel like the point is we get queen b7 in the future. I was wondering why bishop c6 here, not like f5 or e5. What about e5? E5, a4. So Stockfish wants to stop this a4 move because it allows bishop a3. Oh, that's very smart, actually. Stopping a4. Rook b1, e5. So black would be better. Especially after bishop c6. Do we have Discord? Oh boy, do we? Do we? Yeah, we've got a great Discord. You can find it under the channel or exclam socials for the link. Definitely join. It's been going through some cosmetic changes lately. You know, some growing pains. But yeah, do join. It has a lot of fun channels now. We did kind of an overhaul. We put in a bunch of forum channels. It was a whole thing. People have been very upset. But what are you going to do? Change can be good. You know, change can be good. Yeah, no, there are definitely players that they kind of retire from chess. Uh, they stop playing. That's quite common for sure. It is funny sometimes you meet someone out in the real world And then it turns out they're like a FIDE master. And you're like, whoa, whoa, a chess player in the wild. You know them, you see them eye to eye. Sometimes you got to change it up. Exactly. Exactly. What's an easy opening to learn? We actually, Rubik's, if you go to our YouTube channel, which we got links all over, youtube.com/chessdojo. Um, if you go to our YouTube channel, we just started releasing some opening videos where it's like one video, all the key ideas of the opening. We got one for the Caro Kann, we got one for the French, we got one coming out for the Najdorf. I'm going to do one for King's Indian pretty soon. So definitely check that out. But I would recommend Caro Kann. I'm not a fan of the French. Should you try the Queen's Gambit? Yeah, you can try any openings you want. There's nothing wrong with trying new openings. Yeah, I think the biggest misconception is people are like, oh, there's like good openings, there's bad openings. What are the good openings? What are the bad openings? It's all playable. It's all playable. It's just how well you understand the opening that determines your results. It's not the opening that you choose, it's how well you play it, you know. It's like what guitar should I pick? Should I get like acoustic guitar, electric guitar, acoustic electric, wooden, this kind of wood, this kind of like what kind of thing should I get? And it's like, okay, ultimately it doesn't matter, right? You can put the guitar in your hands or you can put it in Jimmy Page's hands, right? And it's going to sound different. It's going to sound different. So any opening you pick, it's going to look a little different when you play it versus when Carlsen plays it, right? But the point is, whatever you choose, it's all about how well you learn it. Yeah, Caro Kann is pretty simple though, not gonna lie. Like Caro Kann is probably the easiest opening to learn, I think, across the most levels. Yes. Yes, you should try the Caro Kann. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, my advice is, yeah, you just got to work on it. Whatever openings you pick, you just have to. Very few times it's like you play an opening the first time you play it, it's like you do well, and then the opening is just firing in all cylinders. No, in order to get good at an opening, you have to practice it and play it quite a bit, really understand it. Okay, we're annotating this game very slowly, but that's okay because I'm here to support you guys on your chess improvement journey. And a 5 here is also possible, like this. And a 5 would also lead to a small edge. I need to delete this variation. This one. Cochrane Gambit against the Stafford. I don't know if you really need to go knight takes f7. I also don't know why Charlie spelled it the way he did. That's not how you spell it. Very Freudian spelling. I think that's necessary. Yeah, Stafford, if you know Stafford well, right, it's almost a free point, right? So just take your free points. Oh man. Yeah, I feel like people often go to great pains just to avoid certain lines. They're actually not great lines. They're like bad lines. I would say just you know, Petrosian famously said, if your opponent's gonna play the Dutch, don't stop them. Okay? Petrosian said that. And he was very smart. He wouldn't say it if it was wrong, He wouldn't like just say that on some podcast or something. It's a real thing. Eighth orbitals, how's it going? Okay. So E5. What do I say about this? This move is bad. is that a good annotation? This move is of a low level. Problem with annotating games, like not everyone is a writer, I mean, I write a lot, but sometimes I don't feel like, it's not as eloquent as Jesse's got like a PhD in philosophy. He can just write tomes about chess and the significance of the square on d5 is manipulated. It's like sometimes all I can is like this move is bad. that's my that's the limit of my philosophical analysis of the move. Okay, we'll come back and add some more eloquence later. So e4, strong move. Knight d4. Yeah, now maybe rook c8 was the way. Can I explain why I was bad? Yeah, that's a good question. That's fair. That's fair. Well, I guess it's bad because it gives up the d5 square. It allows white to play e4 and then put this knight on d5. Right? So maybe that's more clear. This move is bad because it gives up the d5 square. So the right move was knight d4, where after takes, white doesn't have knight d5. Or even if I had e5 here, it wouldn't be such a big deal, because white still wouldn't have knight d5. The point is, yeah, we didn't give white a chance to go e4. What does e5 accomplish? e5 gains space. I mean, e5 is a very reasonable move. Like in this position, Black is still wanting to play e5 and f5. The problem is we just didn't play it at the right moment. I became a master in 2008, I think. Um, what space? I mean, in general, just as you advance pawns up the board, they're taking more space. Because black wants to go e5 and f5. You know, space is like the space of the chessboard. Oh, that's cool. Oski, you saw Jesse? You should definitely say hi to Jesse next time. I'm sure he'd be happy to say hi and take a photo with you. Um, yeah. So right move was knight d4. I feel like you guys are coaching me. Right move was knight d4, which also takes space, but kind of forces white to take. We get cd, and then the idea would be to play e5 soon. It's very funny. um, but yeah, basically this one's a typical idea in these positions. Let's say chess in general, kind of push ahead. Well, thanks, guy. That's very sweet. I spent a couple minutes on e5. I don't remember exactly. Interestingly, white could have also went ed5, which I would have been happy to see. Engine actually likes this more for white than cd, but I feel like I would have been happy to see this one because it would keep the position a lot more combative. I gotta go b5 here, something like f4. Okay, this would be very sharp. Rook c8 takes takes. Hey, see you, Oski. Have a good one. I learned when I was 5. Actually, I might have been 4.5. This would be about equal. So here's another mistake. Bishop h6. Which is kind of surprising, right? It feels like we're improving the bishop, but f4, f4 and a4. Problem is white gets a4. Played here. But this is weird. This would be pretty weird. So this is also kind of a problem move. Should have gone with this bishop. Trying to go either bishop b5 or queen b5. So f4. And then queen b5. Yeah, this would have given black some chances, I think. Takes. We get rook c2 coming. This looks very nice, actually. Something like this. Here. Here. There's a lot of moves. Rook back to c7, rook takes f2. Even rook c3 apparently is a move. Apparently black is okay here. Yeah, rook c3 is pretty wild. Do I think it's a good idea to use chess.com to review games? I mean, it can help. I would say the more important thing is to review your games yourself, because that's where you're gonna learn. Right? It's like easy. It's easy when you just kind of read through the notes and it's like, oh, you should have played this move here. You should have played this move, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But then that stuff doesn't really stick with you, you know. The lessons that stick with you are the ones that like only happen after painstaking analysis. You know, a lot of times it's hard to uncover like what you actually should be learning from the game without really analyzing it yourself carefully. And that can be done with the engine, that can be done without the engine. But the thing that I think is not helpful is just kind of just quickly going through the engine and then not really understanding why certain moves are better than others. This one no good. Bishop a6 was the way. Wrong bishop. You guys have heard of the wrong rook mistake. This was the wrong bishop. Played bishop h6, should have done bishop a6. I guess with this intention, I didn't realize this queen b5. Actually, it's kind of annoying for white. And then if a4, I guess we just go b5. And if a5, there's b4. Takes rook b8. And black's compensation is just fantastic here. Queen b5 coming, and things look very good. Yeah, this might have happened in the game. A5 is very natural. Try to keep the b pawn blockaded, but then just b4. Yeah, queen a3 is possible, but then I think there's rook fc8, and it's kind of a fun compensation. But we got rook c2 coming, and bishop f8, maybe some rook b5. So at a certain point, black will get the pawn back, and then also infiltrate with rook b3, and yeah, white's just going to have issues. Like, this bishop is kind of a target. Bishop on g2 isn't great. Hey, Salem. Thanks for your note. It was nice meeting you, I'm sure. And I'm glad that that was the highlight of your trip. I'm sorry you didn't have a better tournament, but keep working on it, yeah? Yeah, I'm glad we took a photo. I got to meet a lot of fans. It was awesome. I'm not usually like a fan person, like someone that has fans, but yeah, it was cool. So white should probably take here. Go for the end game. Yeah, JD, I'm not used to it. I'm not used to it. Oh, I do remember. I do remember you're the Canada Moves guy. Yeah, yeah, I remember. I forgot what day, but someone came up and said they really liked that course. Well, that's great. That always warms my heart. I do try to make content that's actually useful. You know, as we've been discussing, chess doesn't really pay that well, so the the goal is to just make material that people connect with, and yeah, because I know what it feels like to feel like you're improving. It feels great. You feel like a genius. But then yeah, it's fun to share that feeling with others as well. So this would have still been unclear. Again, rook c3 is possible. But, yeah. I feel like this would have been much better than the game. We would have had some winning chances. You know, I can take takes here. B5. Yeah, this whole thing. If I play bishop a6 here, this was the game. A4, b5. Wow, this is like way worse for black. Oh, d6 check. Somewhere. Take, take. Queen d5, yeah. Yeah, this was the problem with bishop h6. After f4, I kind of have to play f6 here. Nothing else is consistent. But this whole thing is bad because the bishop doesn't end up doing anything. And I just weaken this diagonal, right? Now, I didn't think d6, queen d5 would be a problem, but I also didn't realize that my bishop is coming here at some point, and then queen d5 is going to be an issue. So, interesting, interesting. So if I keep the bishop on g7, then I don't have to worry about any f4. I can just ignore it because the pawn's defended, and it's totally fine to just take back with the bishop. And yeah, much more important to get this bishop activated as well as the queen. So it's much more important to activate the other bishop. Or queen to b5. It's actually very simple. Like if we get the queens off, white's going to be tied down to this d pawn. We get rook c2, and you know it's very, very unpleasant. Something like this. You could go rook c3, but I'm sure there's other options too. Yeah, folks, check out our YouTube channel. Big YouTube channel. Very instructive. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe. People always forget. Slash aren't really interested. Somehow people forget they're not. They forget that they are interested, in fact. Yeah, I don't know if I would go for this exchange sack, but at the very least, go rook c5. I things would be kind of unclear. A4, B5. We get this. Hard to explain why bishop h6 is a problem. Guess it commits to playing f6, which is not a move we want to play here. I'm going to call this a pseudo-active move. For the obvious f2, f4, black will have to play weakening f7, f6. Are there any famous games you can think of with a double exchange sacrifice for the bishop monopoly? Yeah, most famous game I would say is the game Topala Varonian from 2006. I think Linares. It's one of Topala's most famous games where he sacrifices 2 exchanges for 2 bishops, and his 2 bishops win with 2 pass pawns. Actually, I recently played a game in this same tournament, the 8th round. I played a game that was similar to that Topala Varonian game, where I also sacked 2 exchanges for 2 bishops, and I won this very, very tricky endgame with 2 bishops against 2 rooks, where we both had pass pawns. But yeah, that was pretty wild. That's definitely a game I'll maybe make a video on at some point. One of my best games ever, actually, just because it's a very interesting game. It had a lot of very cool moments. Yeah, another very famous game is Lautier Shirov. That's one of my favorite games. In fact, that was, to me, one of the best games ever. That was like in my top 10 best games ever. Lautier Shirov, 1991. And that ends with 2 bishops against 2 rooks. Though that one is more dynamic. Schlechter's immortal. I feel like double exchange sacrifices are pretty cool. Kasparov Shirov. Now, Kasparov Shirov, are you talking about the Sveshnikov with the rook b4, rook takes b7? That's a great game. That's an amazing game. I also agree. That's in our program actually as one of the games to memorize. I think it's a very, very nice game. Only 1 exchange sack though, so it's not exactly a double exchange sack. It's only 1 exchange sack. So Kasparov, I mean, he's good, I guess. He's good, but yeah. You got to sack 2 exchanges to be really, truly immortalized. Karpov had a famous double exchange sack, but it wasn't for the 2 bishops. It was for bishop and knight. I think it's Topalov. He had a very nice double exchange sack game. But yeah, it was very much a positionals. No, I'm totally joking. It was an amazing game. Truly amazing. They were asking about double exchange sacrifice games. And that's only a single exchange, but it was an amazing game. It was an amazing game. I totally agree. Absolute brilliance. Yeah, yeah, bishop a6. That was the way. Absolutely. But now we know, huh? Now we know. Next time we get this exact position, we'll know. Gotta go bishop a6. So here, here. Now apparently at this point, g5 is the only move not to get a worse position. Which is very interesting. I can't say I really took this move very seriously. I'm sure I considered it, but I didn't really. Yeah, I didn't really think it was going to be the way. Thanks, Kaleidoscope, for the gifted sub. Yeah, if Rook takes c1, honestly, white goes bishop takes, right? Bishop takes. And then I didn't think this was so special. Let's say Rook c8. Um, White could go bishop d2. And yeah, it's not great for black. Because I have no entry. I have no entry. And now white wants to go a4, d6 check somewhere. Whoops. Take here. I definitely looked at it, though. I definitely looked at it, but yeah, this was the issue. Yeah, who plays g5 there? No, I know. But it's interesting. Okay, so it forces the issue, right? So let's say take. Say white takes on c8. Take with bishop, I guess. If takes here, we go bishop takes. I guess it's about equal. Yeah, surprising. So this is what I did. King g7. Now a4, bishop a6. White took here. Bishop a3. Maybe this was possible here. And then, okay, white's starting mate, queen d8. But I was worried about rook f8. Rook f8, rook c1 check, huh? Oh, and if bishop f1, wow, take, bishop takes d3, black wins. Bishop takes e4, huge threat. Insane. Insane, interesting. So maybe this would have been a try. Hey, Shinya, thanks for following. How are you? There's also other issues though, like queen f8 check, this endgame. Bishop e7 and then wanting to play d6, d7. Super complicated. Takes d6 and white's winning. Takes d7. GG. Sucks to suck. So yeah, not an easy position to play. Maybe bishop c8, put the bishop on d7. Okay, it'd be very unclear. Yeah, a lot of these moves very hard to find. And then this was the game for anyone that missed it. This was how the game ended. We were under some pressure, and at this point, actually, Black doesn't really have a lot of moves. Let's think about Rook E8 here. But we don't really have much of a follow-up. White can go Queen D1, Rook F3, Queen F1, Bishop H3. Could get really bad. So we managed to bail out at the right time and then make this draw. The groupies, in general, people are pretty chill, you know, at tournaments. I haven't had any particularly awkward experiences or anything, thankfully. What's going on in the Discord? Just wait till Dojo starts providing help. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I feel like we should get into like self-help and like making like motivational content. Folks, where do you want to be in 3 years? What kind of chess do you want to have studied 3 years from now? Do you want to have done 3 years of nothing? Or do you want to have done 3 years of hardcore books, calculation, game analysis, going through the games of world's best players, Alekhine, Tal, Karpov, Fischer, Kasparov? Just think about it. Just think about it. Is that good? Thanks for following, DK guy. I just want to gain 100 elo and just. Hey, you got plenty of time. 3 years. You know, it's like 30 points a year. But main thing is you just got to work on your game, folks. The points will come. You know, don't focus on the rating. Just focus on the trying to get better. Analyze your games. Try to remember ideas. Learn things. The rating will come. The rating will come. Okay, folks, I think we are going to end it. Start wrapping it up. Thanks for hanging out, though.